And even today, I will call Trish and I'll say, well, how did you do that? What worked for you? And then I implement it.
Most of the time, they're coming to join us because they want some independence. They want to grow their business.
The main thing I want to tell a lot of new agents on here is the secret. I'm just going to give everybody a listen. The secret is
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm very happy to be joined in studio by Joan Rosales.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
We got John Bacaron with Elite Syndicate.
How we doing?
So, end of the month, I mean, we're officially when it comes to numbers. So as far as number of families helped, we have two awesome guests that's going to come on and share their process today. I think we can learn a lot of practical information. You know, obviously, for those of you that have been on live dials and got a chance to hear them, I mean, they're not really doing anything special. They're just talking to more people, and they have a very well thought out system. And most importantly, and I don't want to take this away from them, they put in a lot of work, a lot of consistent work. So it's easy for people to put in a little bit of work here and there, or I'm gonna dedicate today. I'm gonna work for 8 hours today, which for when people say that's like hard work, it's like, dude, that's not even that's like a regular job, right?
Yeah.
If you're working from home, you didn't even drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, in between that 8 hours, you're
lunch.
taking breaks, your bathroom breaks, you're surfing the internet, you're going on Amazon, you're doing it on Facebook, you're doing whatever. So just to be realistic about that. So, which look, you guys are all adults. This is your business. This is your life. But if you want to get something more out of it, I would really want that for everybody to reach your potential, or at least, do what you can to try to strive for it and do what you can. And if you fall short of what your ultimate goal or your ultimate goal is, cool. At least you did something, or you sat back and just, waited for something to happen. Believe me, it's not coming.
Nothing's going to land in your lap.
Right.
And we were actually talking about this on the Q&A a little bit earlier. We were talking about setting up proper expectations for people, or, when agents come in, obviously some people need a little bit more structure than others, but like when's the appropriate time to do that? I know you kind of set that up from the time you recruit to the time you get them up contracting. How's that normally work out when you talk to the agents?
What do you mean?
Like, what do most of them say when you say, why do you want to do this? And why do you want to come on board?
Oh, yeah. Well, most of the agents, when I ask them why they want to come on board or why they're choosing FFL Elite over any other IMO, most of the time they're coming to join us because they want some independence. They want to grow their business. They want to just have a full portfolio with a lot of different carriers to be able to cover everybody and anybody. So yeah, I think that's like the main reason why people are looking to move into FFL.
Yeah. So John, when you hire people, what's the conversation like?
So I look into, are they experienced in our industry or not? And then tell them the expectation is really I drive home now, we buy leads, we have leads, we call leads.
Right.
Right. Because if you have people that are just coming on and they have the expectations, I'll sell whoever I can. What does that mean? You're not in business, bro. You're just looking to sell when you can. Yeah. You're working. You're trying to work. You're not running a business. So you have to expand on that. And then once you have a scalable business and you have a scalable, producible success, you got to plug people into that model. And if they're not in it, that's when you kind of learn how to shoo them away now,
Right. Well, not necessarily shoo them away. Because realistically, what happens is when I talk to a new agent, I'll ask them, so what do you want to do here? What are you looking to get out of this? What are you hoping to accomplish with something like this, going into business for yourself? Some people just say oh no, if sale happens to come around, if I have friends that need insurance, I just want to be able to sign them up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you have another job? They say yes. And they're like, yeah, I'm not really looking to work that much. I just want to be able to sell. I'm like, cool. I'm just going to leave you alone. I'm going to let you do that. Now,
that's not your builder that's not the person you want to run with at that point, right?
I can't devote a lot of time as a business person. I can't devote a lot of time into that person because, it's going to come when it comes.
Yeah. And their goal isn't initially to build an agency or isn't initially to make more money or whatnot, right?
It's just a side.
It's like a side gig. Like if something comes around, I want to be licensed to cover the people I know.
No.
Which is fine.
I mean, I hope
Yeah.
it's a side gig if that's your main job. Bro.
You're not gonna make it here as a full-time gig,
Or
right?
it's not very
No.
dependable. I mean, you might have a lot of friends that need it, and you might have like a good first month, but then after you exhaust that initial warm market, then what do you do?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not really a business plan. But for people that come and say, I want to make this much amount of money, or I'm trying to accomplish this, trying to accomplish that. Yeah, then the question is, well, what are you willing to give up for it? Do you understand you need to invest in leads? Do you have a system? What hours can you commit to this?
Right.
So all those things, like if they can't commit to it, then you're not really, like as we've said plenty of times, like you're not self-employed, you're unemployed if you don't have a regular system to work off of. So I have two gentlemen today that are definitely self-employed. They're definitely entrepreneurial. They're definitely business-minded, and they are two things that they have in common: very hard workers. They're also very humble and just good, down-to-earth, honest people, and people I genuinely appreciate. So, Terrence, I want to bring you on first. How you doing, Terrence?
How you doing, Albert? Thank you for having me, brother.
Absolutely. So, this was your best month that you just came off of, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you walk us through, like, did you do anything differently? I mean, how did you get to this point? Hope you're enjoying the video so far. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, anything to help support the algorithm so we can continue to bring you more valuable content and continue to be part of your lives. Also, if you don't feel that it's providing you that much support since you're already at this point, like and subscribe anyway.
Okay. First, this month, I normally be on live dialing, but I was more intentional with my schedule. It's kind of like before I set the goal, you kind of like want to realize what you want to give up. Like I got this goal I'm trying to write, but I got to go to sleep at this time so I can wake up early enough for my clients. I have to clock in, be on live dials at 9 a.m. instead of 9:05, because that'll add up, or 9:15 or 9:30. That'll add up over time. So being more intentional, waking up at 5 a.m. is like normal for me now. I think like 6:37 is like kind of like sleeping in. So you do it for 90 days, it sounds crazy, but if you do it for 90 days, it'll be normal. It becomes normal. So that's the easy part that I've mastered. But the hard part is I'm just there, but I'm not being intentional. I'm not, because you could just clock in and not be there mentally, actually dialing and actually, going in depth with the client on the phone, and instead of just going to the next lead. That helped out a lot. And to be honest with you, Al, like I really just thought about, what if I didn't have this job, what I have to do. And I started looking at my daughter, I'd be having to be away from her. If I don't sell enough, then I got to go back in the field. Like, I mean, I'm in the field, but I'm on the Zoom. I'm doing telesales. But if telesales don't work, I got to go face to face. So it's kind of like dial, or what's the alternative? So that'll make you get up and dial, make you do what you need to do. Think about what you don't want to happen. Make that a reality in your mind, and that'll make you dial more for sure.
Right. And even though you're obviously working throughout the day, it's nice to see, because obviously when we're on, every once in a while your daughter will come in, or you can say like, oh, hold on, gotta go grab my daughter, and it's just like within the same facility, rather than I gotta get in my car, I gotta drive home, gotta do all this other stuff. So she's within arm's length at all times. It's nice little convenience.
And I want to add, Terrence, I really like how he like mentions it to the clients on the phone, like, oh, by the way, if anything, you probably going to hear my little girl speaking or making noise or whatnot. And that makes it very personable with the clients. And I feel like they enjoy that, and they like hearing that he's at home with his daughter.
He's a family man. I mean,
yeah.
What is your psychology when you tell a client that? Is it just to let them know in case there's noise, or is there more deeper meaning behind it?
That's a good question, Al. First thing is, when you're on the phone and you dealing with sensitive information, a lot of clients, if they giving out that account number, they trying to hear like what you got going on. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I try to make them seem like they my mom. So if somebody call my mom, And I want her to be comfortable on the phone, you know, because they like grandbabies. They think about their grandbabies. So I tell them, like, you know, I got a 1-year-old baby girl, you know, let them know, you know, be human being instead of just being a robot. Somebody that they feel and trust, that they know they're gonna be there for their family. So I tell them about me too. Plus, on top of that, I'm asking them for all this information. They don't know nothing about me. You know, I try to at least tell them stuff about me that's important to me while we're going through the process. If that makes sense. I don't try to I don't want to mess that word up, but get off set just to tell them about me. I like to go through the whole process and report while I'm selling. So,
right. I mean, Trent and I were actually talking the other day when we were listening to one of your calls, and then, you know, we noticed little patterns that you add in, you know, like, I got a 1-year-old baby daughter. I got this, and you know, there's little things that you've added into your script along the way to make it more personalized. And but you know, we were saying, like, man, the whole thing's like super smooth. Like, you know, you've gotten like the improvement that we've seen on there. I mean, you were always pretty good, but then like now it's just like it's like effortless.
Yeah. But and in doing that, he's still remaining true to himself,
right?
And the clients like that. So
I think what I noticed when Terrence mentioned he was being more intentional, I think he's been quicker now to get off the phone when people that he knows or he already felt it's not buying.
Right.
It's like, I'll tell you what, you call me when you're ready. I gotta go.
Yeah. I have a bunch of clients I need to call up if I miss you.
What
I love it.
This is one thing I definitely noticed.
I think like it's also has taught him to value his time, right? Like you don't want to go ahead and, you know, waste 30 minutes when you can potentially move on to your next call that will be a for sure sale.
It's a strong power of control right there.
Yeah. You know your worth,
right,
or what your time's worth.
Well, I mean, obviously we're gonna have Terrence speak on that a little bit more, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it's noticeable amongst most agents that are on the live dials, because you can always tell who values their time or who has places to be, people to talk to, versus people that just got all the time in the world.
Right.
Because the thing is, like, one thing you notice about Terrence is, like, with most agents, sometimes you'll if you don't have a lot of leads or you're just kind of newer, and then like the client starts giving you some excuses, they start giving the runaround, like, oh, and then, you know, you're like, and you work so hard to try to overcome that, and you're trying to convince them, just like, hear your pitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I think for a lot of people, they get into this desperation mode of like, I just need to get it all through. Whereas Terrence is always like, it always cracks me up, because then like people start to make an excuse. He's like, all right, have a blessed day. And then, and like he gets off the phone, and like he doesn't even, sometimes he doesn't give him the chance to say anything, just like click.
Or I like when he's like, well, do you want this information or not? Like,
no, the part where he's like, I'm just trying to help you, man. You fill out the form. So if I can't help you, all right, you guys have a blessed day.
Yeah.
Which I think it's an extremely powerful thing. So Terrence, if you could share with the group, like what is the thought process behind that, and what put you in a position to be able to treat it as such?
Oh man, I'm so humble. Thank you guys. You know, I really get a lot out of the live dials that you guys do. It's kind of like I look at you guys like my boss. Like I got to be on at this time, or you know, I'm gonna lose my job. But I appreciate, you know, I get a lot of that, you know, a lot of love back from you guys being on. From the whole process of a lot of leads is with a lot of new agents. They're afraid of the no aspect of getting a lot of no's or getting a lot of rebuttals from the client, right? So it's kind of like I use that in a different aspect, kind of like I'm really at a job, like I'm at Chick-fil-A or I'm at a job or whatever. And if a client comes in and he's not trying to buy it, you know, the person at Chick-fil-A or Starbucks, they don't get emotional, if that makes sense, or a doctor. If you go in the doctor's office, you say, hey, man, I'm going to give me the stethoscope. I'm going to put it on my heart. I don't need to take high blood pressure medication. He going to tell you to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? We get paid like doctors. We went to school. I mean, not school, but got our license and do it. If you do, you know, you've been doing it for multiple years, what's different between what we do and what they do? That's how I look at it, especially if they filled out the form, requested an appointment. If that makes sense, you came in the store, you know, I'm here to help. And the main thing I want to tell a lot of new agents on here is the secret. I'm just gonna give everybody listen. The secret is buy a lot of leads. That's what it is. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Like That's the whole name of the game. If you got so many people to call, you kind of thinking about getting, kind of helping the people to get resolve all these leads that you got coming in. You're not really focused on what they got to say. You're not emotional about that, and they can feel it. Hope that helps somebody.
Definitely. I mean, anytime you operate out of a position of strength, you say things with a little bit more conviction. I mean, like, you don't sound as needy. And, especially when it comes to you're dealing with a client that, they know that you're trying to pitch them. If they hear that little bit of neediness or that little bit of desperation, I mean, they got the upper hand. They got control. And then all of a sudden you're fighting an uphill battle. Now, if you genuinely put yourself in a position, you buy enough leads like Terrence does, and you have plenty of people to talk to, I mean, you can talk a little bit more free. You got that different type of energy.
Yeah. It's an indifferent type of energy. You're there to help them, but if you can't help them, you're moving on.
It's like next.
Yeah.
Right. And I know there's another thing, Al, with the difference between helping 20 families and 40 families that I noticed, is really just the lead flow. To be honest with you guys, like, I know it sounds, cliche, but the person that's spending that amount of don't have the amount of numbers in order to complete the equation. Selling insurance is nothing but an equation. Leads plus appointments equals annual premium, right? If you want more annual premium, all you got to do is just add more leads and appointments into the equation. That's the name of the game. If you want to just produce at a higher level, and I hope that helps somebody. And one more thing, this is what I meant to say. When you're selling at a certain level to scale up, you don't wait to make that amount of money to spend that amount on leads. You got to spend that amount first, and that's what's going to produce. Let me give you an example. The dude help 20 families is going to cost about $4,000, right? So if you want to do 40 families, it's going to cost $8,000, right? But you're not going to do the 40 families first and then have the money to $8,000. You got to save that whole 20, right, for the next month in order to. You got to spend your future income in order to make it. It's not the opposite around. If people trying to sell it first before you got to spend it first in order to make it. To help somebody.
That's an excellent point. I think a lot of times people think, I'm going to do this when I'm ready.
When I get the money.
It's like, well, how do you expect to be ready, and how do you expect to be in that position to do it? Like, it always requires a leap of faith.
Right.
It always requires you to just put in a little extra work, a little extra time to get to the point where you need to be. It's also funny. I mean, like, how often do we have agents? It's really as simple as Terrence just said. How many times do agents say, like, oh, I've been helping like 10 families a month or 15 families a month, and I've been trying to double, but I just can't get there. Like, how do I do it? It's like, well, how much you spend on leads now? And then they'll tell you, and then be like, double it. Yeah. And they're like, what? And I'm like, literally, that's the secret. There's like no other way around it. Like,
I think what they're thinking is, I suck. I need to get better in my skill. Well, sometimes it's not going to be your skill. You have enough leads. You're going to have enough laydowns of clients that requested this information. They just want to buy life insurance. Well, how do you get more clients that want to buy more life insurance? You just need more leads.
Well, I actually can respect those agents that say, like, oh, I'm stuck at this level. It's because I suck.
Yeah.
Right. I'm usually taking some level of personal responsibility. You're at least acknowledging the fact that my skill set isn't where I need it to be or where it should be. I can still get better. Rather than the agents that say, oh, I'm stuck at this level. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be, like, someone else. These top producers must have these different leads, or they must have these secrets. It's like, you really think, I mean, the difference is someone has a secret and you don't. Like, that is that really it?
Yeah.
And even if there is a secret out there, which there's not, but even if there was, it's like, how do you get to the point where you can uncover a potential secret? You got to figure out your business. You got to continue to put in the work. You got to continue to put in the time. That's how you get to the gold in the first place. Yeah. So now, T, you said you were a little bit more intentional this past month. Was your goal to help 40 families?
Yeah. To be transparent with you guys, I've been selling insurance a while, so it took me a long time to do this. So I've been trying to do 40 families for a while, because everything I'm saying is what I've been doing. I've been everything that I said, I've been trying to do that for the last 2-3 years. It didn't work. And I just, I said, hey, I sat my wife down. my daughter can't really speak yet, but I sat her down too, and I said, hey, we not spending no money, for right now, because daddy gotta put that back in the business, right? So we can end up having the house we want. I know you want this, I know you want that. So, your family gotta be on board too, because if your spouse is not on it, your kids don't know what's going on. Now you find with a client, then you find in your personal life that a lot of people fall off like that. So or don't reap the potential that they're supposed to. So that was one of the things that really helped me get to that, that 40, because we was all on the same thing. And Shauna should be on this podcast with me, because she really been holding me down, man. So
yeah. So how did she receive that when you sat her down and had this conversation with her?
She was basically saying, I'm with whatever you down to do. Like, you ain't gotta, convince me. Like, I trust you. I believe you. I believe in you. She already knew what was going on. I've been talking about this a long time. We've been together so long. So to be honest with you, she really stepped in a lot of times so I can work at a high level in the hard times. She stayed up for me.
So, yeah. Speaking of that, like I noticed before, I think you were taking some breaks on the weekends. Now you're also working on the weekends.
Yeah. So in the mornings, we made an agreement, like every 3 weeks out of the month, I get the work out on Saturdays, but I got to take on a date after. So we got a double date night on Saturday. So I was like, cool. I love going on dates. I want to go on dates every night. If she wasn't a school teacher and she had a schedule like me, we'll go on dates all the time, during the day, but she be at school. So she been supportive, to be honest. Like, we did this for it, to be honest. Even though she ain't saying nothing, she had everything else so I can be cool and give me a massage, what I need to do. Like, whatever I need, she there. So it's all good.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great to hear that support system you got. So what's the next step for you now, T?
Yeah, so next is just to, do 40, make 40 my flow. So it's like I know 40 every month, but we gotta get to $1 million a month, bro, as an agency. I told you, Al, when we clicked up, we've been here for a minute together. I had some problems. I was like, and I put my ego aside. I want to grow with you. And I told you then, Al, we're gonna do $1 million a month, and we're gonna get to that. FFL Bless gonna get to $1 million a month, So I know you don't want to take this out, but you need that integrity deal, bro. So we're gonna get you there. You need a couple more legs, so I need to do my part. So
I mean that's gonna be a win-win. I mean, because there's no one I want to see succeed more than you, because of all the things we've been through together and the amount of work that you put in, and just the kind of person that you are. I mean, just someone that just takes personal responsibility for your stuff, and always trying to help out people whenever you can. And I truly appreciate you.
Feelings mutual, brother. Feelings mutual. And I noticed, I talked to Sean Mike, which is crazy. He got a lot of stuff going on. He's still humble. He was like, dude, you got to do 30 a month. You're going to feed the business. You're going to start the business if you ain't selling enough. And in order to get to $1 million a month, it's going to cost you $30,000 to $50,000 a month and overhead, as far as the agents, the 5 staff members or something like that. I think we'll talk about it later, but I know it's 5 staff members you got to hire or something like that. Yeah. Is that correct?
You're starting 5 or something. I mean, there's a lot of different.
There's a lot of different, yeah. But yeah, he basically. But the main thing is selling 30 plus a month in order to feed the business and not starve your family. So You got to start there.
Cool. Well, you're off to a great start, and we'll brainstorm next week. I'm coming out to Atlanta next week.
Hey.
I'm taking T to a Falcons Packers game. Nice. His Falcons, my Packers.
Hey.
If my Packers lose, you're getting demoted. I'm kidding. No, but looking forward to spending some time with you, and man, you had an awesome month, and looking forward to you continuing to grow from here.
Feelings mutual, brother. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, my guy. All right, so Darren White. So T just came off of an awesome month, helping 51 families this past month, and I know Darren went through some health issues, or he had some personal stuff that he needed to deal with. And in spite of that, no excuses. He continued to produce. He got an oversized keyboard and giant monitor or something.
Magnifying glass.
I mean, whatever it was. So he was out. He was literally no excuses. So he sent that into Andrew and Sean's Q&A. So like, it was really cool there. And then you heard it. And
I saw the reel that Andrew posted, and I was like, I'm sure he's talking about Darren. Like, there's no other agent that I know has been struggling or had, because you've been through it this year, and you've gotten through it, which is admirable for sure. So kudos to you, Darren.
Thanks, Joanne. Cool.
So Darren, I mean, you came off an awesome month. I mean, what'd you do differently?
I mean, I'm going to turn you guys up a second just so I can hear you a little bit better. Not only my eyes and ears are going bad, I guess. So
get you some hearing aids.
Sucks getting old, man. You know, it is what it is. So sometimes life deals with you. I sent a message to Sean too. I said, man, when life punches you in the face, you're either going to lay down or you're going to get up swinging. And I got up swinging. Kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you. I had a bad eye. I knew it was bad, but I had one good eye. So I'm like, well, that's cool. I can work with one eye. You know, a lot of people have glass eyes. They work. So I'm thinking I can work with one eye. Well, I woke up one morning and my good eye was bad. And then like crap. And it bled and I couldn't hardly see anything, man. And I was like, this freaking sucks. How am I going to work? And I was working towards your cruise, you know, and T, hey, good job, T. And I look forward to hopefully you and I get to go on that cruise together, man. We can see each other again and here pretty quick. So, you know, I'm thinking that kind of sucks. And I talked to my wife about it and she said, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know, man. She said, what would Sean do? And I was like, really? And I said, he'd figure out a way. And she said, I'm going to go online now and find you a big keyboard. I'm going to show you guys. Look like a freaking kindergarten toy, but hey, it works, right?
It's like glow in the dark. It looks like it glows in the dark.
Freaking big keyboard, big as my computer. And then I went and she bought me this, got me a magnifying glass. And honestly, so I started working, and my first week of August helped 25 families that first week. Now, granted, some of that was done in July and they were submitted, you know, and they come out and got paid in first week, but I don't care what you call it, what it is. I made 25 grand in a week in the first week of August, and I knew this is doable. And just what do you do when you have situations like that happen? You get a good support staff, and you figure out how are we going to do this, because we got to find a way, right? And so you guys know me. A while back I hired me an administrative assistant and someone to help me. It's just I felt like I needed to do that. And I relied on her a lot during this time. I've got Trisha and a few other people on my team too that I relied on to help me as far as just getting things accomplished. And so we just started putting things together. But probably the number one thing that I did for the month of May, June, and July, I had ventured into a different lead source, right? So I needed to find a lead source that I believed in, the one that I felt comfortable with, and one that I can make my own. And so I did that May, June, and July. During that time, I knew that the lead source I was using wasn't duplicatable. I needed, if I do anything, it has to be duplicatable for a new agent to be able to come on board and say, yeah, I'm willing to spend X amount of dollars. The reality was no new agent was going to spend that kind of money. So you remember me coming to LA, Albert, and remember what I said about getting a shirt made up, and it was going to say cheap is ugly. That's going to be my new saying, right? Cheap is ugly. And you realize for 6 years, you and I have been in this business for quite a while, and I was pretty cheap for a long time. And I did just what I had to do, and I spent just what I had to spend to just get by. And once I realized you spend a little bit more money, you make a little bit more money. You spend a lot more money, you make a lot more money. And so I began to invest in other things. And one was hiring the administrative assistant. But probably the best thing I did was I went and hired me a digital marketer that created our own leads. And so today we have it's just a Rockstar Leads automation. So RLA, Rockstar Lead Automation. I think we're going to have a website, rockstarleadautomation.com. And if you're interested in doing the leads that we're using, come jump on. We're going to be letting agents jump on board with it. So what I did is I hired a guy he's a genius in my opinion. This guy's next level, one of the top of the line, and doing what we do. So my thing with him, I said, Landon, here's what I need to do. We've got to make this duplicatable. We've got to make it affordable, and we've got to make it our own. And we started creating that opportunity. So in August of this month, solely those leads. Nothing. I only work Rockstar leads, and that's the only leads we worked. And we worked the dog out of them. And what was cool is we made them our own. And man, it's just been incredible watching. Like just last night and today, we've submitted almost 10,000 between me, Trisha, and my son-in-law off these leads. 3 people that are working these leads. So I've been kind of having them talk to me. And this is from last night till today, up to now. We've got right at 10,000 submitted between us 3 agents off these leads. But it's just because we've created a lead source that we believe in, and we know how to work them. So
right. Well, not only that you leads that you families. Believe in, 10 families. Yes, thank you.
2 minutes later.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. When you're on a roll, you're on a roll. Yeah. But it's not just about leads that you believe in. I mean, like there's a ton of options of leads out there. I'm not saying that one's necessarily right over the other. You got to find one that you can stick to, one that you can consistently use. And you tried out different platforms. I mean, Terrence is obviously not afraid to invest. So the thing is, if it's working for you, continue to use it. Yeah. Now, what would you say for the people that may be on here watching and then they're just thinking like, oh, this did work for Darren. He got a digital marketer. I'm just going to cut out the middleman. I'm going to do this myself. What would you tell these people?
Yeah. So good luck, right? Because everyone and their dog has done that, right? And you go out there and try to create, and we've got agents on our team that's going on there and trying to create their own Facebook account. And listen, it's not about anyone can. You can go to YouTube and figure out how to put a Facebook campaign together. Good luck with it, right? It's about hiring a professional that will do it and do it right, and that will watch it, will market it, figure out ins and outs of it, and then more than that. So just to really tweak it and do all the things that you've got to do. But one, I think probably the biggest thing on ours, and Terrence will know because I was on a podcast on another team on those other leads. Terrence remembered seeing me, and they brought me on because what they called my follow-up game, right? And they said he was the king of follow-ups. And all that means is you got to create these leads that we're getting different than any lead I've ever worked. And Albert knows we used to do things. I used to use the phone burner, and I'd buy $1,000 worth of leads, and we rip through them all day long, and you make some sales, and they're great. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people making a lot of money in it, so don't get me wrong. But these leads aren't like that. What we found out with this lead program is there will be a follow-up, and you've got to nurture them, and you've got to baby them, and you've got to do things like just really spend some time with that individual lead. And when I first did this first few weeks, I didn't do that. Like I was just simply calling them and they wouldn't answer. I'd get ticked and I'd call them again. And I just did over and over. And finally, I began to realize maybe we treat them a little bit different than other leads. And so I started creating different avenues. So with our lead system, we created our own CRM that goes with it, but we're developing the CRM to where it has a text message, it has email sent out, it has voice recordings. We've actually, even the last 2 days, put together a thing that she sent out, and she got 14 appointments over the last day and a half simply by texting them, sending them a picture of herself, sending them a beautiful little text message, and then they're replying back. She got one today, and if Trisha's on, I'm going to let her say something about it because it's amazing. She told me the story, but the lady says, I need to speak to Trisha. Trisha, are you on? Okay.
I'm here.
Chris, tell him if you don't mind. Albert, if you're okay, I want her to tell you this story because it blew me away what she did with this. Tell him, Trish.
So, Trish.
Hey, guys. Hey, guys. How are you guys doing? Yes, we are. The short of it was we had a training like, I don't know, a week or two ago, and Landon Middleton that was doing the CRM for us was like, you're going to have to touch like each person 27 times in call rotation before you probably get a hold of them or a sale. And like, I'm transitioning to the phone from the field. Everybody knows that I've been super intimidated. Like, is this going to work for me? And then I hear that and I'm like, man, like that is going to take forever to get somebody to answer. And I was doing the same thing for like the first, I would say like 50 leads. I was just calling like a crazy person and couldn't get anybody on the phone. And I didn't believe in messages because then I think you're giving them too much to think about. And I'm rethinking this thing and complicating it. And then like 3 or 4 days ago, they actually used me an example in the meeting. Like I wasn't using the CRM right. And so I got offended. So I was like, I'm going to figure it out, whatever. And so I stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, this thing is like really cool. Lo and behold, I use it the right way and find out that there's all these tools. And so I find this thing in my world that's new to me called a triplet. Maybe some of you IT or smart people know what that is. And it's basically like you're making a template for a text message or an email, and you can send it out like in a bulk way or a drip way, or you can put a timer on it. And so I just started like cutting and pasting these God bless veteran images and stuff like that just off the web. And I would make my own like little template. And I was sent like the other Labor Day, I sent one out for Labor Day. But then I adjusted it to like it had their name personally on each of them. Now, mind you, I have no experience. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just falling into all this. Well, then I noticed in between my calls, I got like, 5 or 6 people that actually text me a message like, thank you for this. I, really appreciate, you're the only person that wished me a happy Labor Day, stuff like that. And so then when they text me back, because you can see it real time, I'm like, oh, they're on the phone. So then I called them right then, and I was able to like make a couple appointments that way, because I caught them. Well, then I was like, well, if that happened, I'm gonna figure this out where I'm gonna use more of the text. So then I put like the good unfat picture of myself, like in the red, white, and blue, and made it like all cute but professional. And like was like, hey, this is Trish, your veterans advocate. I've been trying to reach out to you. And so then I was like, okay, in the morning time before I dial, I'm sending them a good morning text that's personal. And then I have 3 different phone numbers I dial from. And you can set it up in the CRM. Like I have an 800 number, I've got a local number, and then I've got one that I was able to put like Veteran Solutions on the caller ID. So in the morning, I'll dial straight through, or I'll 2-time them, and then I'll send the text first. And then on my second dial through, I'll use a different number. And then I've got a midday text that's got like my picture on it. And, why haven't you called me? I need to get you on my calendar, kind of like the urgency, time sensitive type of one. And then on my third round, which is like your midday to evening dial, I'll use a different number. And then I'll have a later in the evening. Then I go on a pause to pick up my kids, do dinner, come back. And then I have 2 more hours because I'm on Eastern time now. So I can call till like, 11 o'clock at night. Well, yesterday, when I put the one with my picture on it, that's when like things started to unfold. And I was getting people that were saying, this is actually you, like you put your cell phone number. I actually believe you're not a scam. Like I think this is credible. And so I made a bunch of appointments yesterday. And then today, this was the whammy. I was trying to figure out how I can put a screenshot on so you guys could see it. So I had this lady, I sent my bulk text out like 10:30 with my picture on it. And so she calls me. Okay, so I don't want to confuse you. So if somebody calls you back, like on our CRM, you can program it to where they're actually calling the number you want them to call, show up on your ID. So like on my ID, it's the 877 number, which is neat because I know every time that rings back to me, it's a client calling in or calling back. So it's a really neat way. Like you'll never miss a call that way. Yeah. So I got to thinking about like that. And then so today I get a Florida number, but I recognized the name. It was Linda Myers because I had just seen that yesterday, her name on there. And so I answered, but I normally, when I answer the 877 number, I'm like, oh, hi, this is Trish with Veterans Life Insurance Solutions, blah, blah, blah. but I didn't do that. I was just like, hello. And she's like, is this Trish? And I'm like, yeah. I thought it was something personal or something with like Sarasota County Schools, because I've been getting all that, and with my kids. And she's like, oh, this is Linda Meyer. She's like, I'm sorry to call you. I know you have a calendar thing. She said, but you put your cell phone number, and I just want to try it. She's like, I got online yesterday. My husband's a veteran. And she said, I swear 1,000 people have called me, and I got scam calls. And she said, and there was just something about you sent me that text today with your picture on it, and you look honest. And she said, I want to see what you have to say. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, of course, So then I went into our spiel and what we do and everything. Anyway, we spent an hour and a half together, right? She lives like 45 minutes north of me towards Clearwater. The most interesting stories, husband, severe age, like life-changing heart issues at 59, because the Agent Orange finally, it was dormant, like from Vietnam, dormant. And then all of a sudden he has a stroke at 59 and it becomes just prevalent. It's a crazy story. So now he's, really like, he's going to die soon. He doesn't know when, but it's taken all of his motor skills and everything kind of away. So they never had, excuse me, they did have like 20 years insurance. They borrowed on it like a lot of folks do, and no money was left. And so they had nothing at this point. And she, give me 2 seconds. And she was like, I really started to worry about this. The other day, she was like, she's like, really not in a financial place, that is, that good. She's like, but I don't want to like leave my kids to have to worry about this stuff. And she said, my mom died last year and she left me with a mess. I don't, so, there's reasons, there's that inventory, like, why are we at this place right now? And you let people talk about it and you find out exactly. And so anyway, probably the biggest premium I ever sold was today. And that his was $352 a month. A GIWL that was $20,000 of natural death, and then she was healthy, so hers was like $49. Not through there, but my point is that like, and I didn't like, I went through their finances, so they're getting money from the GIWL. They had VA pension, like they had about $3,900 a month disposable, and because of his motor skills, he can no longer drive, and she never drove. So their kids moved him into a condo where it has, like, below the condo is a trolley system that goes around Clearwater, which I thought was so cool. So they can Uber and trolley. And so they sold their car, which they had a payment, and they won't have insurance. So she was like, not only do I have the 3,800, she's like, but I'm going to have another $900 a month. And I really want to spend that on insurance. Like, flat out told me, I'm like, well, we're going to be able to help you a lot less than that, So it was just, without being super, super long-winded, like, it's one of those things where I think with the phone, and again, I'm nobody, just starting, I think the more personal you get, because of like all these calls these people are getting, like if they can have a reason to feel you, or you know what I mean, like, have a connection to you, then there's much more of a chance that you're actually going to get their time.
Trish, I appreciate it. That's good. Albert, I wanted to say, so this is how I'm coming from two people that work totally the field, right? So we were in the field. I did my mortgage protection. I did that, and I just drove. Remember, I talked about driving 2-3 hours across the state to go see one person. Trisha literally drove the wheels off her car in Missouri. She moved to Florida, and she said, Darren, I'm ready to do something different. And I said, I've been begging you to do something different, right? And Albert knows about this. So I said, Trish, it is time. And everything just kind of fell into place for us. In May, when I started working this other one, I went totally this way, virtual. For one, I did it out of necessity, because my wife didn't want me out in that car driving, right? With my eyes being bad. Like that, I had good accidental death insurance, but she didn't want to cash in on it yet. And so I was forced out of necessity to go virtual. Trisha was, when she moved, I kind of forced her hand. I said, like, no, this is what we're doing, Trish. You got to do it. Trust me, because I knew that she would absolutely kill it, and she's loving it. So anyway, hey, good, back to you guys. If you got any more questions for us, whatever. But
no, I think that's really exciting to see, because I mean, Trisha self-admittedly has said she's technologically challenged on these things. And to her credit, she's really great in person, face to face. But just because that's your strength doesn't mean that that's the only way of doing things. You may be missing on other methods of, growing your business, and it's exciting to see because for Tricia to having not known about this system to now she's putting on her personal touch, and she's adding in a personalized text, and I think that's a huge part of it. I think a lot of times when people have these automated systems, they just think, all right, cool, I just want to get a program where I don't have to do any work.
Yeah,
it'll just do all the work automated for me, and then I just show up and I close and I make a bunch of money and I become rich and I go and sail the world on the yacht.
yeah.
Right? It doesn't work that way.
Yep. No,
so
you
as
gotta
much
work
as we
it.
want it to, it just doesn't.
That's key.
She brings a good
Albert,
point.
that's really key. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just
Go-
saying she brings a good point about, like, besides the dialing, okay, if you dial a lot and you work hard, that's a great thing, but also you're in competition with the other telemarketers. No one's picking up a lot of the phone calls anymore. We don't fill out anything. We get calls. We're getting calls from like extended warranty. We're getting calls from like solar, something else. So making it personal, multiple points. And also, if I could just add, we're talking to multiple lead vendors, CRM vendors, just extra information they were saying about how the phone carriers now, if you call within 1 hour and you dial multiple 50 to 60 dials in 1 hour, that phone number can get flagged, and it can get flagged as scam likely. So it's very important while you're dialing, try to switch out phone numbers, like what Trish is doing. 3 different phone numbers, take a break on one, call with another number so you can get a higher pickup ratio as well.
Absolutely. John, wait till you turn 50, 55, and then your number, your phone number or calls are going to double.
Now you have Medicare, Medi-Cal.
I get them the other day. I got one. And finally, I said, "How old do you think I am?" They said, "Well, you sound pretty young." I said, "All right, well, let's go with that because I'm not old enough for Medicare, so quit calling me." And so it is what it is, man. But the older you get more of those phone calls. You've got to think differently, right, guys? If we don't get anything out of tonight's call, think differently. If you're working now, listen. If you're working the same CRM lead, listen, I've got an agent that's killing it on those. And I don't tell him, don't do anything different, right? If it's working for you, do it. But if you're going to work these type of leads, don't be afraid. So you guys know I'm a longtime wrestling coach. I did it for 23 years, right? But I can promise you, and I was freaking good. Like, I was one of the best coaches in the state of Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is one of the best states in the country. And I had a winning program. We were really, really good. But I didn't get good by not be willing to go out there and learn more. I went to technique camps every year, and I would go learn. And what is Oklahoma State doing in wrestling now? And what are are they doing arm bars or what? How are they working their leg? I mean, like, I would go study and figure out what are they doing? What can I teach my kids this year? And we went to a lot of camps, and we always stayed up to date on what's going on. And I took that same mentality now. I'm still coachable. And if you quit becoming coachable, then I think then it is what it is. You can keep doing what you're doing, but I become very coachable. And even today, I will call Trish and I'll say, well, "How did you do that? What worked for you?" And then I implement it. But I think at some point you got to be coachable. And if you are working a lead type like this, don't be afraid to ask, like, "Okay, how in the world did you just sell 10,000 yesterday? Or help 10 families yesterday? What did you do that I'm not doing?" And figure it out. But never stop learning, and always be open to learning something new. I think if I get anything out, that's important. And then on these leads, the fact is what John was saying is so true. You've got to you've got to find a way to get them to work. People aren't just answering the phone. You got to find a way to get them to work. And it's not one of these that the automation is going to do it all for you. The automation is going to help, but you've got to do even more than the automation. But you got to find a way. And really what we're finding out on these leads is getting conversation started. And if you can get them to text back, game on then, because now I've got communication go between me and them, and we can get appointments set. And once you get appointments set, we do the bookings. The follow-up game is so important with these leads.
Right. And then, I was on Darren's call the other night. Yeah, Tricia brought it up. 27 touch points before a sale's made on average. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the change with the times. Landon was sharing that information. He said before it used to be 7 touch points before you made a sale. Now, because of the way that people communicate, because the amount of information that's flowing around out there, the thing is, people are going to see stuff, they're going to disregard it, they're going to ignore it, or they're going to think it's a scam. So I mean, the thing is, if you didn't have automation, then you got to do, on average, you're going to have to hit them 27 times yourself. Call, text message, email, whatever it is. And then if you find a system that works, like Darren has, like Trisha has, like Terrence has, then that automation kind of helps, knock down some of those numbers, because that's doing part of it. We're still doing part of it. It's not automation to do 27 touch points and then magically a sale happens. We got to be realistic about this stuff. So you are still always at the center of every sale. People buy because they like you and they trust you. The automation is just there to kind of help move your schedule along, help nurture the lead, kind of help, just take some of that work off of your load, but you still got to ultimately do it yourself.
Yeah, if I can ask Darren,
go ahead.
You helping 50 families. What is your average lead spend now, especially with your new CRM system?
Yeah, so I had that one killer. So typically with this system and the way the lead flow works, a lot of veterans get paid on the first of the month, right? So you're always going to have your best month that first week, just because issue pay, right? They get paid, it goes through on settle on that first week. So I think I will probably always have my best week that first week. But if you looked at my numbers in August, I can see where I can actually, there was a time, John, when I said 50 and ridiculous, or nobody could do that, not correctly, right? I'm like, it's like, maybe, but there's better. I can honestly see 50 being every month, and I can see 75. Honestly, can see really utilizing what I'm doing, and I can see 100. As stupid I can even say that, because I never would have dreamed of saying that before. I can see now that is actually doable, especially when I look at what I'm doing now to do 50. I know I've got more hours in a day. And so it's all about being resourceful, finding a way to do it. So what does my week look like? It's first week, it's big, but then you've seen it was another 25 families after the first week, 26 families. So it kind of tapered down. And I noticed the last week is typically your lowest week in the month. And I think that's just because if they're going to pay, they're probably going to wait until the first, second, or third,
Right.
So that's kind of how that happened. But I think those are pretty accurate numbers, beginning of the week, a month, good, and then it kind of tapers down. But, we're going to go on a cruise. So we're excited about possibly going. I sent a letter to Sean and Andrew both again today saying I'll see you on the cruise. And we're about a week away from hitting it. And that's my next big thing. Is I'm pretty sure the numbers, if they play out right, by next Thursday on this call, we can be announcing that hopefully Terrence will be joining us and we got the cruise.
That's right. So, yeah, I mean, so 50 families, 75 families, 100 families, it's all within reach. So I think John's question was, how much are you spending on leads?
On leads? Is that what you're asking, John?
How much are you spending?
Yeah, I got you. So it's a little different, right, than what it used to be. I'm thinking you meant how many families am I serving each week? Yeah, so how much money do I spend weekly leads? Mine is a little different, right? Because what I do on the Rockstar, write this down, Rockstar Lead Automation. That's our company. In that company, we have a monthly fee that you can pay, and I think we're $3,000, and down the road that's going to have to go up, right? But $3,000 per month to get you as many leads that will come in with the automation system. It comes with the CRM that we talked about, all the automation, everything is built and geared around it, and it's $3,000 a month to come in, and that's what you get. Now, we're actually doing it bi-weekly, so you can do $1,500 every 2 weeks, or half a month, or $3,000 a month. So either way, and there's no contract on it. So any agent can jump on there. If you're Elite family, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and if you want to try it, come on for 2 weeks and see if you like it. Rockstar Lead Automation. I think it's going to be rockstarleadautomation.com. It should be set up. If not already, it might be by now. But, come on and try our leads and let us coach you and show you what we're kind of doing. And that's how the system's working. But it's working for us. And if it works for us, the whole thing, John, on this was it had to be duplicatable. And any agent should be able to invest $750 a week, right? So that if they're not investing that much money, then probably need to go back and get you another job somewhere, because you need to be invested. If you're a full-time agent and you're not investing $750 a week, well, you're going to get what you're going to get. You better have you another part-time job somewhere, because it's not going to pay your bills. So we've made it duplicatable. We made it where everybody could come in and make a living doing this. And anybody, you make one sale, we laugh about it now, but $750 is less than a sale. With these leads coming in, we're averaging over about a family and a half per sale. So I'm just telling you, the AP on it, a general sale of about $120 is what we're finding a month policies. So you can do the math. You're going to pay for it on one sale. So we made it. It had to be duplicatable. That was the whole point when I hired this guy. That it's got to be something that every agent can make money on, and not that they couldn't on the other ones, but I seen the numbers on my teams. I knew what they were falling off, and they weren't working. And we had to figure out why is it not working. And I think we solved that issue. And I wanted to lead from the front, John, and I wanted to be the one. Like, if we're going to do it, then I'm going to be. And I did that as a wrestling coach, right? I always said if I'm going to lead from the beginning. And my boys always loved wrestling me because they wanted to beat the coach, right? And I'm like, crap, I don't even take so much of that a day. I'm as good as I once was, but only, for sure a short time, right? Not all the time. But I wanted to lead from the front, and I wanted to be able to set the example. And I think that's what we did with this. And I didn't want to sell any leads type unless they were proven. And I think we proved it. So anyway, thanks, John.
No, that's very generous of you to offer it to the rest of the group, because oftentimes what happens is a producer does really well, then they say, they hoard their secrets and they don't want other people to get on because they want to maintain their status, or they think they have a kind of a scarcity mindset about it, thinking like, if other people get on, then it'll be less for me, and then I can't eat and I can't produce at these numbers. Whereas you have a very experienced digital marketer in Landon who knows how to kind of scale this accordingly, right? Because that's another thing about people going out and just finding random ad campaigns. It's like, maybe it can work for one person, but do they know how to scale it? Do they know how to continue to make it still where it's still effective for more and more people? And it's not as easy as you think. I've looked into it. I know how to run ads. I don't know how to do it to an expert level. So I don't know how to do it for somebody else. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, and that's right. Trusting somebody that as a professional to do that for you, right? That's just what we do. There was a time when we were needing work on, when I was coaching wrestling, on being better leg riders. I went to OU, and the guy's really good at it. And I brought him in. I paid him like $1,000, come in under the table. Don't tell him what, he'll probably get OU to get in trouble. But I brought the guy in, the wrestler, and had him spend 3 days with my boys and teach them how to be better leg riders. So sometimes you got to find the professionals and trust them and let them go out there and do that and build it for you. And that's what we did. We hired the best and we trust him. But Albert knows this. Even then, he was not going to be able to keep up with it. So what did we do? We went and hired a marketing team that is actually going to take us to a whole nother level. And so now we're really geared to where we can go farther. Now, this is only going to be offered to Albert's team. And Albert's right. I thought about this. Should it only go to rock stars? No. See, I'm a part of Elite. I'm an Elite family. Albert, who was my brother from day one, right? He came on board. Albert's team is my team. As he grows, we grow. And, rising tide raises all ships. And we're going to grow. Now, we're not going to go beyond Albert's team, but we're going to grow. And we're going to grow the Elite family. And as the Elite family grows, the Rockstar team is going to grow. And we're going to use it as a marketing tool. We're getting ready, as we hired this new marketing firm, to really push. You're going to be seeing the Rockstar, FFL Rockstars with the Elite lead program within it. And if you want to go out there and work for this Rockstar team, we're going to be bringing on 10 new agents every month, and only 10. And we're going to train them how to do 50 families a month off of it. So
awesome.
It's exciting.
Well, it's really
stuff.
exciting. It's really exciting to watch, because you and I have been talking about different ideas, and to watch it starting to kind of unfold now, the work that you put in, the time that you put in, the people that you surrounded yourself with, now it's kind of manifesting, and it's really exciting to see, because I mean, you and Terrence are just two guys that I just admire, and the guys I love being in business with, because you guys are just really humble, normal dudes that just look out for other people. So you guys deserve all the success you guys have had so far.
Thank you, Albert.
All right. So now if people wanted to inquire about the program or get on, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can, if you want, easy ways to go to the group me. I'm on Albert's group me, and you can find me and message me on there. You can go to it'd be Rockstar Leads Automation.com. You can go to there, and if that's not up today, it'll be up for sure by tomorrow. Rockstar Lead Automation. You can message me, find me on Facebook and Darren White, and just message me. I'll go on group me if you don't mind, Albert. Put my phone number on there, and you guys can private message me, and or text me on my number. And if you want to give it a shot, we'll be glad to hook you up. Yeah. Personal training, and Trisha will be part of our trainers. We're going to do a weekly training and show you what we're doing. We're going to help you automate your CRM. That'd be your personal. Help you put your own pictures on it. Everything that we've done, it's got to be duplicatable, and we'll help you duplicate what we're doing.
Awesome deal. Well, just trying to get more resources out to you guys so we can kind of eliminate some of the seeming obstacles out in front of you guys. But you guys heard from two of the best. Just get your leads, have enough people to talk to, operate from a position of strength, and just go out and help whoever you can. So, for Terrence, for Darren, for Trisha, John, Joanne, appreciate all you guys' input. Hopefully this was helpful. I mean, I learned a lot. This is always an ongoing learning process, no matter how long you've been in this business. Let's go out there and continue to improve every single day. Let's go be elite, guys. Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys once again for supporting. If you guys want to see more of that, please make sure you like, subscribe, click on this link here to subscribe, click on this link for the next video.